I'm gonna draw a character from a movie, but what kind of character can I draw to impress the Hollywood elites? You see, the Deadpool 3 movie is coming out with Wolverine, but also the Joker movie is coming out with Harley Quinn. So, I don't know who to draw. Oh wait, I got it. Today, I'm gonna combine Wolverine and the Joker. Let's get started. First, references. I'm gonna put reference photos on my reference sheet. I'm gonna put a lot of photos of the Joker and photos of Wolverine and the different variations of the two. Because there's a lot of different renditions of the characters, I have a lot to choose from. I'm also gonna put pose references and lighting references and any other things that I might need to help me finish my artwork. When I'm doing a character design challenge like this, it's important to stay rough, like real rough. And I mean rough. You don't want to put too many big details in the character at first because you just want to get the basic shape of the character and the idea of the character. Right now I'm focusing on whether or not I want the character to be slim and tall, or strong and bulky, or big and fat, or whatever. I ultimately decide on having him look a little bit more built like Wolverine. And sometimes after that I like to figure out some of the costuming ideas. For this one I like the idea of having Wolverine's new armor from the movie, but I still want to keep the suit look from the Joker. So to do that I gave him some armored shoulder pads and I also gave him a button down underneath that armored chest. But Wolverine doesn't usually have sleeves, people want to see them guns. So I rolled up the Joker's sleeves. I think that's a perfect mix of the two characters coming together. And I think it's a pretty creative way to show those arms. And that brings me to one of my most important tips. When doing a character mashup like this, a character fusion, you want to make sure you have elements of the characters that are most important still in the new character. You want the character to be recognizable but still be its own character. For example, when you think about Wolverine, what's the first thing you think about?
He's hot.
The claws. No. Claws. That's my wife. She thinks I'm sexy too. And when you think about the Joker, you think about his clown makeup and that big smile. So I want to make sure I keep both those things in my new character. I drew this head and I didn't really like it. I gave him Wolverine's hair and the Joker's makeup, but I wasn't thrilled. Plus, it reminded me of that one character I made where I drew Charizard and those other Pokemon as people. I even gave him one with a mask and I still wasn't happy, so I had to sleep on it. I fell asleep and I had a dream that I had 1,000 subscribers. But when I woke up, they're not even 400. I guess my dreams aren't coming true today, so back to work. I drew 2 new heads for the character and it looks less cartoony and I like that. It was time to lock in. I started drawing and drawing and drawing, make sure I take every line serious. I finally got to something that I was happy with. I think I like the one with the mask better, and that's the one I'm gonna go with. Now that I'm done with all my ideas, it's time to draw my final illustration, my final concept. I use what I already have as references and all my reference photos as well. I want to make sure I capture a cool pose for the character that showcases who the character is, and I want to show them claws. When I'm done with my sketch, I go over it again with my inking. Yes, it's tedious to draw the character over and over again, but having a nice base sketch makes sure that your inks come out perfectly. And this time, there's no more rough sketching, it's just all precise, beautiful line work. Yep, it's time to get serious.
Why so serious?
I'm just gonna get back to drawing. For the background, I want a night sky with a bright moon in the background. This helps me later because I want to do some rim lighting. I also want to add the Joker's laughing gas because it helps frame the character, which is an awesome compositional trick. But I did get ahead of myself. I need to color my character with flat colors. No rendering yet. No lights, no shadows. Just the flat colors. It's important when you're in this phase to have a certain amount of color combinations that you can try, but I went with the first one I made. I made sure to have the Joker's purple and green, and I wanted to have the yellow from Wolverine, and a little hint of blue. Now I want to render my character, but let's fix that background a little bit more and add some detail. I use some brushes that I have to make that laughing gas look more like gas and look more painterly, and I add some more details. Rendering has to be one of my favorite parts of the process. It can make or break my image, so it can be scary, but it's still a lot of fun. I use the dreaded soft brush that a lot of you hate, but I beg you, don't hate your soft brush. You just gotta learn how to use it. Some people pair it with the lasso tool so you can get hard edges and some gradients. I like to turn the opacity down and make a soft gradient. Turning that opacity down makes it that is barely noticeable, but it makes a world of difference. Especially for me, since I use cell shading. When I'm done using my soft brush, I switch over to my hard brush and add those cell shaded layers. But I don't like to only use cell shading, so I also blend some of those in sometimes. I get to the armor plate and I don't usually render things that are so metallic, so this was a challenge for me. But it's important to get out of your comfort zone. This is how you learn things. This is how you become a better artist. I used a very, very light green, like almost white, to make that armor look shiny. You can even use white. It makes it look even more shiny. But remember, even though you're adding so many light tones and shininess, it still will have shadows. So you gotta remember to add those shadows to your armor as well, especially in places that you want to make that armor look more three-dimensional. Another thing I like to do when I'm doing my rendering is adding textures and patterns. So I added these stripes to the pants and used my rendering to make it look a little bit more wrinkly, giving it that wrinkled texture. I love the way this is coming out. I think I'm capturing both characters and still making a brand new character. Let me know in the comments down below what you would change, what you think I should do differently. Let me know what you think about the artwork. I don't mind sharing all I've learned through my art journey with you guys, so I would love for you guys to share what you learned in your art journey with me. So every comment helps. I'm trying to become the best artist I can be. I add some finishing touches like some sparks because I need to add to the chaos, and I also add my lighting effects. When I feel like I'm pretty much done with the character and everything else, I just add a little bit of chromatic aberration. Not too much though, because it can be pretty overwhelming. You can erase it in places that you don't want it and keep it in some of the other places. But remember, keep it subtle. And here he is. I love the new character, but I don't know what to call him, so let me know in the comments down below what you think he should be named. And if you like this sort of thing, you can watch this video right here. I do this all the time, because it's fun. And remember, I'm awesome. I think.